basically Talia and Malachi, they're both in the community and they're both looking to possibly partner and joint venture on a campaign for ads, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then see how it goes for you guys and go from there because these are the same exact ads that I'm running, and I'm running everything from A to Z as far as like the CRM to the lead gen to everything, so I could definitely like basically walk you guys through step by step on exactly how I make my campaigns and then structure it, and I'll help you guys out and do that. Um, but as of right now, some things I've learned this week, you know, is that in the beginning, right, since I met up with he's a redeveloper that went on to commercial and he never ever went back to residential. And he basically was doing the same thing that I was doing, with the smaller houses, getting everything renovated, um, fixing and flipping, wholesaling, all that stuff. But I'm keeping a lot, right? This
Yeah.
guy is basically saying do the opposite. Take them around, flip them, sell them, just keep making your money up, keep making your money up. He's like, you're young, you got the energy to hustle and keep going at it. When you're older, you take all that money that you built up and then you buy the rentals so you can live off some of that rental income. But in the beginning, he's like, you're not about to get rich off of 100 rentals or something. The way to get rich is making today money now. So he's like, if I were you, I'd sell your rentals and take on a lot bigger assets that you can make a lot more money with. So if you had like a few hundred grand, take it and you put that on a down payment on a huge project where it can make you, 500K or $1 million or something like that from one deal,
Yeah.
whether it may be like large commercial family, businesses, or it could be large commercial family itself. Large commercial properties itself. Um, and the list goes on and on and on, even if you're doing like a high end, new construction build, something, just something big. That way you're turning around and you're doubling your net worth. You're tripling your net worth constantly over and over again because you're young and you can take that risk. So I was like, that's super smart. Because if I take the same amount of money and put them into rentals and just hold them and then wait, I'm not a what I'm a, I maybe like, double that or triple that when I'm 30. 30 more years, probably like 60. What good is that? I want to get rich now. So take that money and take active, educated risks and deploy that capital because it's a tool. The more money you have, the more resources you have, right? But if you
Yeah.
just buy rentals and keep them tucked away, it's just chilling there. You can't be like, oh, that's a fire deal. I can make seven figures on it. You can't just be like, yeah, I got the money sitting here. Boom, let's deploy on it. You can't, because it's just sitting there locked away. So he has a massive, like, big point on that. And I want you guys to take that in as well because I kept on buying the rentals, right? And look what it's got me now. Got some passive income coming from it, but it's not that passive. Noticing all the work you got to actually put into it when these tenants keep calling you, right? You keep fixing random stuff. These bills keep adding up. And then next thing you know, you're not really cash flowing that much, So it's like all that work for little to nothing sometimes. You know what I mean? So yeah, that principal pay down pays off over time. But what are you making? Like, 200-300 bucks a month per property. So yeah, he has a really large point. And he's like, look, what if you in your midlife, by your midlife ending, you've made like 30-40 mil. Now you can go buy like a crap ton of multifamily where you can cash flow like, 50, 100 grand easy, easy. Unlike, like some high cap rate properties. You know what I mean? Some low cap rate properties. So so yeah, it's massive on what he was saying, and it really did make a lot of sense. So, because if I took all that money that I had, instead of spending it into rentals and tucking it away, if I took that money and just like reinvested into marketing, for example, it would skyrocket my real estate company a lot faster, right? I could have taken some of that capital and pulled the trigger on some big boy deals, and even if I lost some money, like in unseen expenses, the deals were so good that I would have made money anyways. So stuff like this to just keep your mind on. So as you make money through flipping houses, flipping like contracts, keep some of that money to the side, just so when these deals come, you could aggressively attack, you know, because you got that capital behind you. But if you don't and you always spend it away, you're gonna watch these deals go like right in front of your face, and you're not being able to do nothing other than wholesale it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as a buyer myself, I'm like people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're shooting yourself in the foot by telling everybody this," but like I believe in abundance. You know, there's more than enough for everybody to go around. If there's like literally 100 deals right now, I want to be able to buy all of them, right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like there's more than enough out there for all of us to share and all of us to get rich at the same time. Like that's how much properties are out there, how much opportunities are really out there, you know? So
I really want to get into rentals. That's what I want to build for. So by the
yeah,
time I'm 23, I'm bringing in a certain amount of money where it's like, okay,
you don't
I,
gotta work for it.
yeah, I'm bringing in
You're
like,
chilling off of your living expenses, right? Is that what you
yep,
mean?
yeah,
Exactly.
yep,
I'll be at that point next year. I should be having like 10K every month coming in just from properties. By the rate that I'm going now. So if you can make a good amount, but look, like for example, you can have those 10 like the amount of rental properties to cash flow you 10K, or you can have a cash flowing business, right? And
yeah,
it's going to require a lot less capital up front, but that business is going to be able to sell for a lot more money than the rental, if you think of it that way,
yeah,
right? So like I've really shifted my focus from like going from super super heavy and on rentals to business and actual net worth growth, right? Because like once you start making a decent amount of money, you're not going to think like how you're thinking now. Like, oh, okay, what if I have like a steady stream of income coming in to cover my living expenses? But what if you're making 20, 30, 40 grand a month? That's the last thing you're going to think about then, right?
yeah,
Then you're just going to think about, oh, okay, I'm making this boatload of money. What can I do to strategically like projectile growth my journey so I can go from like 6 figure club to now 7 figure club now? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So you like once you have like imagine like you just open up your bank account and you have like 200 grand chilling there. Like you're not gonna worry about like
No,
passive income or anything. You're gonna be like, bro, I'm good next month, the month after that, the month after that.
yeah,
I'm good for the next 3 years, you know? And then when you start thinking that way, then it's like, all right, now I can have this cash pile, but then be ready. Like anytime I see like a really nice deal, I can just go ahead and go after it because I have that cash ready. So because all this like it's all over the internet that hey look it's passive blah blah blah, but it's really not. It takes a lot of headaches that you got to deal with constantly. So
my friend's
mainly,
dad here in Omaha, he owns this giant house, and I was there one night, and I be
yeah,
seeing all this Section 8 stuff on my phone from all these big people, and I've always thought about it like it makes sense, and I kind of grew up on it to a point, so I was like maybe I should get into it just because I'm like I've been through it, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
then I met him, and he has like 25 properties here
mhm,
that runs through Section 8, and he was walking me through his house, and we were talking, and he was just like telling me about like all the stuff you have to go through, and it's not that hard. So that's when I made the decision, like maybe I would try Section 8 eventually. But
mhm.
I've always seen it all over my phone until I met somebody in real life that does it, and he's fun. He's a fun dude, and he's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
bro, it works.
Well, it works, but it's a whole different business model, and it's a
Yeah,
slower one.
yeah,
I'm not saying that like you can't get wealthy at all. You can over time. Like if
yeah,
I just take the rentals that I have now, never ever buy another one ever. By the time I I hit like 60, 65 years old, those properties easily be worth like double what they're worth now, and
yeah,
they'll be paid. So like, would I be broke? No. Would I be wealthy? Yes. Probably be worth 2, 3 mil. But what if I took that money and invested into my actual like today money businesses? How quickly could I have grown? Vice
yeah,
versa. That's what I'm trying to compare to. You know,
yeah,
um, like if I take the same opportunity, and let's say if I take all those rentals and I take the money, let's say if I have 300 grand in equity in those deals, I take it right now and I use it to go buy a distressed 12-unit apartment building that has $1.5 million of upside, and it needs about $3 million. I mean, $300,000 worth of work. At one deal with my 300K, I could turn my 300K into 10 times that by doing that one deal, right? Compared to me, if I'm going ahead and keeping the money in the rental properties, it's safe, it's there, and it's growing, compounding slowly, but it's moving like a turtle. And in this case, you just did one deal in 1 year, you're up, $1 million. You turned your 300K into 1.3 now. You get what I'm trying to say? And then like the more you do that, as we're young and we can take the risk and we can afford to, because we can bust our butt, and keep it going. We can keep hustling. But when we're 60 or when we're 70, we're not going to have all this energy and we're not going to have the balls to take all this kind of risk, right? So that's when you want to like, all right, here I'm going to buy a storage unit complex. Here I'm going to buy some multifamily that we can do half on Section 8, half on regular tenants, stuff like that. And then the work and the headaches you get from those are like minuscule, but
Yeah.
and the money you make is minuscule, but it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
So it's like imagine you take all the risk now, make a boatload of money, and then you go buy all that stuff. You'll be able to buy so much more of that stuff later down the line. Is what I'm trying to say. It's just like this is all just a game of like who can get wealthier in a certain amount of time because we're all limited to the amount of time we have on this planet. So it's like if I go completely all out in just a Section 8, how far can I scale, and where can I go compared to these other avenues? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like basically being like, all right, look, a car salesman is great. Car salesmen make good money too. But if you compare it to a wholesaler for real estate, now you're like, I don't care how much that car sales guy works. If you compare it to a decent wholesaler is gonna like freaking whoop his. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
He's gonna like projectile over that other guy. As far as like wealth goes, just because like every car that the car salesman gets, he's making like 10%. He's probably max $1,000 commission. On the wholesale side, the guy's making freaking 10 pieces on the low end and then $30,000 pieces on the high end. From each deal. So it's like you just growth is like a lot more rapid. So yeah, that was a big thing that I wanted to let you know. Another thing, I got pitched like credit opportunities like many times. So it brought me back to my first like rental that I ever bought, and it was so freaking hard, man. It was so freaking hard. I was like pulling my teeth out to get lending for that thing. So I did something absolutely phenomenal. No banker was giving me money. No private capital was trying to give me money because I had no experience. They're like, why on earth am I about to trust this 23-year-old, 24-year-old that got no freaking money, that got just decent credit, but like it was good credit, but no active income coming in, like other than just wholesale, which is not really predictable.
Yeah.
Um, and we're just gonna give like it's a gamble to lend to me, right? So here's where I got complex. Like I already put the property under contract. I wasn't telling the owner no, and I needed to buy it myself. So here's what I did. I spoke about it on Instagram, and I told everybody like, I'm gonna give it away in the community. So here it is. I I took on as much private capital as I can. So I started door knocking. I was cold calling, and I was asking anyone and everyone for some money to lend me on my real estate transaction. And I told them that I would give them 10 to 12%, right? Interest only payments annually. So it's let's say $100,000, 12% on $100,000 is gonna be 12 grand annually, right? And you break that up into monthly payments, right? And then that's exactly how I was basically doing it, right? I think that's like $500 a month. Yeah. So no, yeah,
No.
the 12 grand interest, that's gonna be $1,000 a month payments. But yeah, that's just like round numbers to just break it down for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So I found an investor in my own back pocket. Um, so I got $25,000 as a loan from my dad. Um, and then, but the house was 40 grand. And then the renovation was probably like 50 grand. So I'm still over here like, I got 25 grand. What am I about to do? So I start filling application after application. I got a personal loan for 30 grand. I got approved for. So boom, I took that. I bought the property. The rest, I opened up business credit cards. I got approved for two, one for 25 pop and another one for 25. So two $25,000 business credit cards. So boom, there was my $50,000 I needed reno. And I
Yeah.
ended up doing the reno for just 40K. I thought it was 50K worth of work. I finished it off for 40. And then I basically got no traction with trying to get lending on the back end either. So I started cold calling lenders like crazy. And man, like month three of that project, I was like giving up hope, man. I was breaking down. I thought like, damn, I took out all this debt. I don't know how to pay these people back. I'm like not sleeping at night. It was rough, you
Yeah.
know? And then one guy, I went to a meetup, and one guy, he's like, I'll help you out. And he just like saw my growth because I kept going every month. And he's like, I'll help you out. I have my own lending company. I was like, really? So he hooked me up with another person because he didn't actually end up doing it. And I finally got that first guy. And then I started going to meetups for private lenders. And I started making a list of them. So, but long story short, whatever you got up against you, bro, you can't give up. You just gotta keep it going. Like you just gotta set it in your mind. That's why if I just moved like the average person who said like, "Oh, I don't got enough money to buy this property, let me not try," I would be nowhere right now. I didn't have anything, you know. So I basically what I did was I did the most riskiest thing anybody can do, and most people won't tell you to do this, but I also have it written on my wall, like I'll do it or I'll die.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any option. So anytime I find a really, really smoking grand slam deal, I just lock it up. And if I know I'm about to buy it, I just lock it up. I don't even know how I'm about to buy it. I'll just lock it up. And I'll put my back up against the wall. And I tell myself, like, you got to do this. You got to figure it out one way or the other.
Yo,
You
that's
know,
all right, bro. Like,
wow.
on your will, you do it or you die.
Yeah, that's legit on my wall. I
Word.
wrote it down 2 years ago.
Oh, I thought you said will. I was like,
Oh,
what?
no.
Uh,
No, no, no. On my wall, on my wall.
I was so confused. My bad.
No, 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 no. On my wall. So yeah, I was just like, I would always work and just stare at it all the time. So, but yeah, man. Now all the stuff that I have, it's actually, it's super easily accessible to you guys. So like, if you guys, for example, need a lender, you guys are getting into it, I'll make sure that I'll walk you through, everything, and I'll make sure you guys get funding. I already did all the legwork. I already have lenders. Um, for hard money. I have a whole list of different guys. So in the beginning, like even if you guys can't get qualified from one or two guys, like don't give up. Like I'll help you guys get through it, and I'll show you guys different options. Let's say if your credit is not the greatest and all, then you could always like all you need is some sort of experience and knowledge, and then you can find some other people that can pair up with you for that first couple of deals till you get your experience up and some capital up, so you don't need those other people again.
Yeah.
You know, but as you guys actually like start, I don't want you guys buying rental properties for cash flow, thinking that you're gonna get rich off of it. Nah,
yeah.
after that, just go all in into your hustle that's actually making you money today. Rentals and stuff is like the shiny object. It's like the gold bars I used to buy. I used to love them, like, but they're sitting in the safe. They're not doing nothing. You know, like your
Yeah.
money is like useful in your tool belt, ready to actually, use. So, do whatever you can to make a ton of money actively, wholesaling, fixing, flipping properties, any sort of services that you can provide to other people, and then take that capital and then spend it on some things like rentals, because you're gonna need to depreciate, right? Otherwise, if you don't buy nothing, then you're gonna have to pay all that money in taxes. So instead of spending it in taxes, just go buy some rentals. And that's what most investors do to like,
Yeah,
hide away
Sham.
from the government tax.
Yeah, Sham. I have a question on that. So, like
Sure.
when you said like there is a profits, right? So profits, you go and buy the rentals. So it should be on the same physical year, or we can roll that to the next year. Let's say if I made 50 grand 2025, so I have to buy that in 2025, or it can be also done
Technically, yeah, it's gonna have to be bought in that year.
the same year. So
Yeah. So what I do is I consult with my CPA. Every time I buy another property, I consult with him. I give him the deed, I give him all the info, and how much I spend, how much I'm going to spend on rehab, what the areas. I consult everything with my accountant. And every quarter he reviews all the income that's coming into the business, and then
Mhm.
so he keeps me updated. Hey, look, you're going to need to depreciate such and such amount. You might want to start looking at some opportunities now.
Okay.
So basically, even when I went through a few CPAs, and it's really important to get everybody that you work with, like the Avengers team. You want a badass team that is just as hungry as you are to grow. And so I made it super clear to my CPA that, hey, I already went through a few different CPAs. I'm looking for a teammate that can help me projectile growth onto my company and grow with me. Because as I grow, I'll make sure you grow as well. We're all growing together. So I need you to help me grow faster, and I can also help you grow as well that way. So with anyone and everyone, if you're gonna hire an agent, an attorney, whoever it is, like in your team, make sure they're like
Yeah.
rock stars in their field.
Great.
So, and also another key tip is this one changed everything. Make sure all these people that you do hire into your team, they also own real estate and they also do real estate. So my CPA is also an investor. I sell properties to him as well.
Oh, okay.
So if you like choose an investor friendly real estate, a CPA, then he's going to be able to know the ins and outs because he does it on his own portfolio as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm, mhm.
So like if I talk about half of the stuff to a normal CPA, you might get scared and all that stuff because he's never done it. But if you just really go hire someone that's already in your same business as well and understands investing, then it's just going to be like seamless. He'll be able to understand your business night and day and be able to help you.
Okay.
So like as far as like my rentals, the depreciation, everything, I owe it all to my CPA. And anything that's too if it's too in depth for your CPA, I would hire a cost seg team. So they're specialists in just taxes for assets. So they can go ahead and run cost segregation studies on how quickly they can depreciate your assets. That way you can buy a bigger unit, like a bigger apartment building, depreciate it in 7 years instead of like 20 or 30. And then you can go ahead and sell that one 1031 into a bigger asset or something, whatever your strategy may be.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that the CPA. I'm also still looking for a different CPA for my different business, for my marketing, for wholesale itself. Um, and like I want to separate things into like different groups for each business. Also, I'm looking for a nice lawyer, a really friendly real estate attorney um, that has a lot of courage and a lot of balls. Um, if I need them to fight in legal battle, I can't have like a little puppy dog. I need a pit bull. Um, so it's just gonna take a lot of trial and error because lawyers is tricky. The longer they spend in court, the more they get paid. So they're not even incentivized to help you win. It's like the opposite. So it's so hard to find a good lawyer.
Hmm.
you know. So I
Yeah.
mean, if when you guys find a good lawyer before me, like let me know. Please share. I'd love to use them. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a nightmare, especially in New Jersey with the evictions.
Yeah. Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
you touched on PML, right? Private money lending. So what is the
Mhm.
average they are charging for PML? Like what percentage interest rate and any points?
So what I do is like I don't care about the average. There's some people in like Pace Morby's group that are charging like 16%, 18%. I had one guy charge me 30%, and I'm
Oh,
like,
okay. Hmm.
why wouldn't I just go to the bank? Like it's just stupid. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't even make any sense. So what I like to do is what Pace does, and there's this book called Private Real Estate, no, Raising Private Capital by Matt Fairclough. He was out of Trenton, New Jersey. He has an office out here. This guy's like a genius when it comes to raising private capital. You guys should check out his book, like whenever you get a chance. I
What is
definitely
it?
recommend it. It's
What is
called
it?
Raising Private Capital by Matt Fairclough. So what he does is he actually talks to the general public, to the public. He'll start educating anyone and everyone on his business, what he does, and how he can make you passive returns. Because that is actually passive. Because the investors aren't doing anything. You know, they're just taking the risk into believing you and your project. So that's like the only work they're actually doing and signing papers. So basically, he'll go to anywhere and everywhere that he goes on a normal basis, and anybody he speaks to, he starts talking about this. Hey, what do you do for a living? And he'll give the entire spiel in 30 seconds, and that way he can basically share to the world what he's doing. And when anyone needs to actually you break that ice, you build that relationship, and then you start asking other people like, how much money do you have? Like, we should sit down and have a coffee one time just to show you what I'm doing for my clients right now and what we could possibly do for you too. Um, what if we can like actually make a plan for you to help you retire off of your interest income, just off of, your partnership with us, right? There's different conversations you can have. But even like you go to the supermarket, your your lady at the supermarket cashier's, register, she could easily have like $100,000 in her bank account from working like 20 years or 30 years. You never know. The
Yeah,
money's everywhere. So you should
collecting
definitely
2.5 interest rate
yes.
and
Yeah.
collecting 2.5 CDs or something like, yeah,
Yeah.
educate them and try
So
to give them more interest. Yeah,
yeah, so right now, look, the CDs are at 4.5%.
yeah,
That's what current rate is right now. What if you can give them 8%? Make them happy. Give them
yeah.
8%. Eight
Mhm.
percent is amazing. It's almost double what they're getting now. And you're the one who's teaching them, so they don't know anything about any of this anywhere. They don't know what the market rate is. They don't know anything. You're teaching them. And for them, 8% is great, right? You don't
Yeah,
need to be teaching them that, hey, look, there's other people getting 10% and 12%, blah, blah, blah. You can tell them, hey, I can do this. I can offer this. I'm showing you that I'm doing, this as a project. This is the outcome. This is how much money I'm making. I'm making 50,000 on this project. I do these all the time. This is my track record. And if I'm making 50,000 from this deal, I promise you, I don't have a problem paying you your 8%. I want you to keep paying 8%, and next year I want to pay you 9%. I want to show you. I want to show you that teaming up with me is the best decision of your life. And you teach them everything in and out. That way they have trust in you, and you give them first lien positions. That way they have nothing to lose, and you have everything to lose. That way you will, do your job and get everything done. Give them their money on time. I like to give it even before on time. And then when it's time for refi, I give them something else. So, well, last time what I did was give them little cash bonuses. What I've also done is give a cruise ticket. You know, like you getting a refi check for like 10 grand to walk away from the difference of the property and the refi loan. The least you can do is give them something for supporting you.
Yeah.
It will make them a memorable time. Like no bank in the world is doing that. No other people are doing it. Like it's going to separate you from everyone, and it's going to make it a memorable experience for them. And they'll go ahead and celebrate. And when they go to their Thanksgiving events and Christmas events, they're going to talk about you. They're going to be like, oh, how much are you getting in returns right now on your CDs? Oh, I got this Indian kid. He's blowing the waters of everybody. They'll brag about you. So I hope that helps a lot. Because like I've gotten private capital from a person I've never met till today. I borrowed $50,000. I paid him back, and he's in Florida right now doing other projects, and I still haven't met him. We're supposed to meet next month, and play golf. So let's see how it goes. But I've done business with people I never met. I've done with another person, from across states. I still haven't met, and the only reason we met is because we did that deal together. Um, So you'd be surprised on how much capital you can raise. You don't even have to meet the person. You just have to do a lot of work to form those relationships and show them that you're capable of performing on whatever project that you're actually pitching.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Are you thinking of raising private capital right now, Sri?
No, not for this deal. Just trying to educate myself. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I have like bunch of my friends of mine. Like I know a
Yeah,
lot of people whose money is sitting like 200, 300 Ks and collecting very little interest to no interest.
yeah,
I, I have that code with me right now, but I want to just once I implement my stuff, then try to influence them and try to pull their like,
yeah,
hey, yeah, yeah,
100%. And even
yeah,
if you don't have deals right now, you could always pair up, you know, and you could buy equity into deals. So for
yeah,
bigger
yeah.
deals, right?
Hmm.
So for
Hmm.
that kind of stuff, what I noticed is I was doing it on single family. It's just
Hmm.
not enough meat to go around for everybody,
Yeah,
So it's like you're playing with little numbers and you're competing with people. It gets difficult. But when you're playing with bigger numbers, you can get super complex and you can work different things out with the number that with the numbers you're working with. And also you can give them equity. And when you
hmm.
do that, it's non-taxable. So they can take, benefit of all the depreciation. They don't have to pay taxes. And guess what? They can 1031 with you
Yeah.
and re-roll their money back into the next project. So they still don't pay taxes and they're re-rolling their new profits into the next deal.
Next deal. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's a lot of different benefits when you go like higher up in the higher tier, private lending world when you can get access to more and more capital.
So
So
working with a 1031 exchange deal is that can be done like a regular wholesale deal, right? So
what do you mean? I'm not sure
let's
if I
say
understood.
yeah, let's say there is a seller for 1031 exchange. So we work like same as regular wholesale deal for 1031 exchange.
So are you asking if a seller is selling the deal for a 1031 exchange?
Yeah, yeah.
So if a seller is selling a deal for a 1031 exchange, you'd have 90 days to sell the property and
Okay.
buy the new one.
Okay. He have to buy the property within the 90 days period. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. So sometimes so I just one of my friends he basically found a buyer for his property
Hmm.
and then locked it up under contract and then locked up a new deal under contract afterwards. So I
Hmm.
know a lot of people that do that. They get like let's say if I'm selling property A, they get a contract for someone to buy it already, and they get property B
Hmm.
for purchase themselves. So they closed on the first one, and then they close on the second one, like this. So that way, nothing is even sold before they got the other one under contract. And if they don't get another one under contract soon, then they extend this one so they can get that other one under contract and then close in a relative similar time frame. If that makes sense. Was that clear or was that a little confusing?
Yeah, that was clear. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got you. So yeah, that's a big thing. You know what? I actually got an advice from like three different Indian investors. So all three of them were telling me basically they're like you're raising money from the wrong people. And they were like, go with your own culture because they're gonna and this is like super true. Like not even to be racist or anything, like if you're Indian, then another Indian's gonna, build a relationship a lot quicker and faster with you. Like, let's say if you're Hispanic, another Hispanic guy is gonna form a relationship with you and trust you more. Right? If you're black, like same thing goes for a black person, whatever the ethnicity is. So if you are raising capital, your main important, goal and objective is to form a relationship. And if you at least share that commonality, like right out the gate, it makes things so much easier. But till this day, I have still yet to raise some money from an Indian person other than my dad. So I need to maybe learn something like that from you. And so I don't know, like do you go networking at certain places for them, or these are just like your friends growing up or something?
Yeah, personally, me, I haven't started any networking yet. This is going to be my first uh, wholesale or fix and flip deal. Right now, my brother is funding for this. So, but I still have a contacts. As you said, as per like Indians try to connect with Indians or Spanish is Spanish. So I saw one guy in Canada. So
Yeah.
he's like south part of India. So
Hmm.
he built his team within like 1.5 year. Now he was partnered with a bro. He's a real estate agent. Before he
Okay.
used to be a wholesaler, then he turned into real estate agent. Then he started influencing people on the Instagram. Then the community, right? He attends the community events here and there. Then he was so popular on Insta, giving very valuable information for free every day, 1 hour Q&A. People who are interested in buying the properties on MLS.
Mm,
So what should a person do like before they even think about buying a property? Once they have a job, so how much is your income, like, so what house you have to look for. Let's say if the property is 1940s or 1950s, new first time home buyer might be scared of looking at 1940, 1950 properties, right? So he
mm,
educates like what you have to look. If the bonds are good, then why you worry if you are getting the property for below market value?
yeah.
So you can fix it up. Then he tried to educate on that. He tried to influence. Now he has a team of more than 30 to 35 people who is working
Okay.
under him, who is working under him. So he has a Tamilians, he has a Canadians, he has a Gujaratis. So he has a lot of all other channels. Like, so
Nice.
when he gets the lead, oh, he is a Gujarati. Come on, map the Gujarati agent. Oh, is Tamilian. So okay, map the Tamilian. So end of the day,
Nice.
they are very straight. Hey, I'm not going to do any rebates or anything. So you know the rebates, right? Some
Mm,
the rebates like if you're buying a new property, let's say DR Horton is giving you commission for like 3% or 2%, like buyer agent commissions. If it is a new
mm,
construction, it doesn't need much due diligence, right? About the
yeah.
condition of the property. So he straight away says some people they ask for rebate. Hey, I'm buying the 500K property. DR Horton is giving you 2%, which is $8,000. As it is a new construction, what they do is they give 50% back towards the closing. Agent gives
Mm,
50% back towards
I
the closing.
see.
In
Yeah.
Indian communities, they do a lot of that. So it is a
Mm,
rebate. So
I see.
at the same time, agent won't work much with the buyer. Why? Because he already did his due diligence and
Mm,
he's ready to go buy the property. At the same time, agent is not putting much efforts. So some people they give it back. Even in Monroe, where I live right now, just
yeah.
cross the street, my neighborhood, there are properties going for $1.3 million,
Hmm.
3,500 SFT. There are all overwhelmed Desi community, and they are giving agents are giving 80% back to the buyer.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so it is new construction, right? That is how competition is. So sometimes these agents they are like not like that. They say like, hey, we are
Mm,
not going to do any rebate. So we are going to add the value to your property. We are going to get the discounted price. We are going to price anchor with the seller or buyer. Then
mm,
that's where we are going to push the value. Then he never does the rebates. Now he
I
has,
see.
like I said, he has more than 25, 30 people team, and he's just educating them. And well, why I was talking is when you said about the community, it has a lot of power.
100%. I definitely agree with you. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. I'm thinking of different ways to strategically market to the
Hmm.
Desi community. It's
Hmm.
just like, I was basically raised here, so it's like, um, I'm still Indian, but it's kind of like a white Indian, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a little hard. I don't fluently speak in Hindi, Um,
Yeah.
I can speak fluent in Gujarati, but it's still, it's a little rough. And so, um,
Hmm.
it would be a little difficult, but I think it can still happen. And I think, we can still manage to, to stir up the community. That's for sure.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely gotta think outside of the box and see which is the best way. So I know for one thing is for sure is if you market to physicians. Most physicians are usually like Indians and doctors and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so if and they also have like a high net worth and income as well.
Yeah.
So that's like a repeatable model to market to. It's just getting in front of them, and conventions are a decent way, but they might think that you're just coming there, just to raise money, and it's not really like you're not serious
Hmm.
about the convention at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll definitely talk about that a
Yeah,
different time.
you're doing very good at Instagram. Like, if somebody is
Yeah.
looking at your reels, then they think, hey, Sham is really doing work and is making a lot of money. So why I by if they know you in person, or if they knew by Instagram also, they might try to hang out and
Yeah.
see like what you're doing, and they can lend
Hmm.
money too. Yeah, as you said, like
Yes.
there are a lot of people whose money is sitting in the savings, collecting very little interest to no interest, which is
Yes.
I know many people. The CDs are like 3.5, 4%, nothing more than that. Uh,
Exactly.
if we educate them, why would, if they have trust and they are lending money and the property lien is on their name, so why would they scare about that? Yeah. Only thing
Yeah.
is like finding the deals is a major thing.
Yes. You're right. You're right. It gets to the point where finding the great deals in the nice areas is where everyone wants to invest in,
Hmm.
and it's really hard to find those.
Yeah.
So I got out of that way to go into the areas that are already,
Yeah. Yeah.
like high in distress, so I can source more deals and scale faster.
Correct.
However, there's like a backfire to that too. Not a lot of people want to lend money for projects that are in, like, for example, Salem, Trenton, Camden, right? In like ran down areas. Not a lot of people want to lend money for that. And so that it gets difficult when it comes to that. Then it's just all completely on trust. It doesn't even like see, so like I've gotten rejected by two different doctors. They're both Indian, and they were basically saying, "Oh no, those are really bad areas. We'd only lend money for areas in A and B class." So it's like when you go to A class, you're not looking at cash flow. B class, you're just scraping by on cash flow. It's mainly just appreciation play, you know, appreciation and for depreciation. So, it's like when you do go to the like higher class educated folks to raise money, they're super sophisticated and they're going to start doing their own studying and research. And so if you have, properties in distressed areas, they won't be really open to it. You know,
For
that's
the
what the
private,
issue I had.
so
Yeah.
you're saying for the private money lending, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's why like I like to like my method, like with what Matt Faircloth teaches is really, really like powerful because now you're the one who's teaching them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not even teaching people that are super wealthy. You're teaching like non-accredited investors, but then you have a cap on them. So like everything has like plus and minus. But if these Indian people trust you, like how the couple of guys trusted me for my deals, like one guy didn't even see the property ever in his life, and it was in the middle of Salem, and it had a cockroach infestation, like just super horrendous property. And he was ready, and he wired me like $50,000 at close. So it's like that, all just because of my relationship. Another guy did the same exact thing, but whenever it comes to Indians, like it's so much harder. That's what I've realized, But I think like it all once again comes down to relationship. Maybe they
Yeah.
look at me as like 20-year-old kid, and they might respect you more and they might trust you more based upon your relationship with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because also ego comes with like a lot of the Indian guys. So they might be like, oh, like this little Indian kid is trying to teach me, or stuff like that. They might think it's like, you know, it might hurt their ego or something. So I don't know. Do you agree with that, or what do you think? Or you think it would be easy for you, for example?
I mean, like it's all depends. Like, some areas they might not have any knowledge. If I talk about the distressed property, they have zero
Yes.
knowledge on.
Hmm.
We know like where to find the distressed property. Like there is, but they only look. If I say them like people who are living in Monroe, if I talk to them about the Heightstown, they are like surprised. Are you sure? The property I showed them, like which I got under contract, I showed them I got this under contract for 320K. Then I was like, "Are you sure it's just like 4 or 5 minutes away from our place? How that can be that cheap?" Then I tried to tell them, "Hey, there are the neighborhoods A, B, C, D." So then they try to, okay, that makes sense. Then that makes sense.
Mm.
It's all
Nice,
depends.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I see.
So
It's more of an educating factor, huh?
yeah, it's more about educating factor. Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
So we
Yeah,
have
no,
to like
we'll
tell them
work
like
on something.
end of the day, number talks, right? See, we have to tell them like, hey, in the top neighborhoods, why would they sell the property for cheap if they don't have the stress? So it is even I wasted my 6 months of marketing time and money marketing for the A grade neighborhood with having an intention that it can be sell fast and it can be rent fast. Yeah.
And then also the thing is, in the A class neighborhoods, you have A class people, right? Their education level is up here, their living standards are up there. Everything is different. And then in like a 300 or $200,000 neighborhood, you have people that are also like a lot lower in education, right? It's a different class of people, and the education factor might be low, and that it makes their it breaks or makes everything. You know, that's why like in the lower educated areas, people make crazy mistakes of going into foreclosure and going into tax liens and all sorts of different issues. The higher educated guys are less likely to default because they care about their finances more and they're at least educated on them. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's something that I've really noticed like in a really like beginning of my career. I know that if you're going to go into A and B class neighborhoods, if you target like really old people that are
hmm,
looking to retire soon, those can turn into good deals
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I had good deals and like really nice and like high end. I got a deal in Austin. It was a great property. It was 100 grand spread on that property. It was a $500,000 property, and we got it for a really really great price. We sold it to a hedge fund. That's how you know it was a really great deal. Um, so and that one basically was turnkey. It was a vacation home for an old lady that was retiring. And so that's how it was just really good. Expired listing, it failed to go on market and she wanted a high price. And
But
eventually,
what
six,
I,
7 months later, yeah, she closed with us.
good, good.
Um, yeah, so it's the older people is like the nice way to get into the nicer neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah,
in top neighborhoods like Edison, Islin, Colonia, so Woodbridge. So if you find like old properties like beat up properties 1920s, 1900s, I see a lot of new developments like they buy the property for 350K,
it's been
knocked down to the slab or basement and try to pull the permits for 3,500 square footage. Get the it's a long run, long project, like 1.5 year project.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they are making good numbers, like 30% returns on it. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
yeah,
Some of those guys are even making like seven-figure spreads. It's insane.
yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Like in the high-end neighborhoods, for luxury houses,
mm-hmm.
they're making crazy amounts of spreads. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I'm looking for something like that right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at a package deal right now. It's like six houses, dirt cheap, but they're in like the $200,000 ARV ranges. So either taking on those as like a package of six, it could be 3 to 6 houses. So I have to get capital ready. It's either those, or I keep looking for either land to develop ground up, or add a level model like this. Whatever deal I get, I'm gonna have to pull the trigger on it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have like one's getting refied next week, and then my triplex is coming up, and then I have a duplex that's refining. So it's like all this money coming back. I gotta deploy it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
So the
it's
triplex
they're
is
out
in
here,
which location is that triplex?
South Jersey, Salem
Oh,
County.
okay, okay. Everything's Salem. Okay.
Yeah, I have in Gloucester County as well.
Okay.
So that one's nice too. But the other ones are all just cash flow heavy. I just
Mm-hmm.
been refining and just rolling it on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Burr strategy, just buying, rehab, uh, rent it out, lease it out, and then just refi.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a quick
yeah,
I have
question. Uh,
sure.
I have this one girl that she says she has a floor plans and a piece of land in Jackson or Jenkintown, Jenkintown in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you know where that's at.
Not too sure.
Jenkintown, PA. She has floor plans and like she wants to get rid of it. She just texted.
Okay. Can she send over the floor plans? That's one, and get information on how big it's going to be square footage wise, how many beds and baths it's going to get, and if she can send over the floor plans for us to take a look at, and then just find out also how much she's looking for the lot, and then I can help you underwrite the entire thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so just grab all the information that you can, and then we go on from there. Tell them like, yeah, we buy everything, we take on everything.
Fair.
You know. So,
So you
like,
said
even if
she
it's not a deal for us, it could be a deal for somebody else.
yeah. So the square footage of the house
Hmm.
and then the bed and bath.
Also,
Okay.
the square footage for the lot. And make sure you get the exact address for the lot. Sometimes these people don't know the address since it's not there, and they tell you the wrong address and everything. Just make sure you get the right address. Right address, and a lot and block too, just to be sure.
Address and what?
A lot and block number. You could probably pull that up on PropStream as soon as you do get the address.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the same. It's gonna be on the same main page
Okay.
and under property details, I believe. Yeah.
Usually like where the APN is for the house, for a house.
No, it's gonna be way underneath. It's gonna be like on top of the taxes or something in the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just gonna say property details. It's gonna have like the lot size, the lot number, block number, what kind of zoning it is, like all that stuff at the bottom. So, sorry, were you
yeah,
asking
Sham,
me
I have
something
one
right
question.
before? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So do we have any addendum in the school documents?
Addendum, you said?
Yeah, for the price negotiation, if the
I
seller.
don't. So I got the addendum done from a transaction coordination company and they handled it. But what I
Oh,
can
okay.
do is I can take that same addendum and I can copy it for you guys if you want. We could do that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking for one. I have one
Yeah.
template, but I'm just want to see.
What I
Yeah.
would do is like honestly, it's like for a property that what's
Okay.
going on here?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. So if you're doing a deal, it literally costs like $300 at max to just get it done with a TC. So I usually just always hire a TC to do it for me. Like let's say if the property's in Georgia, I'm not about to handle all that stuff all the way from Georgia. Like I just get them to do it. Let's say they have boots on ground and they can handle
Okay.
it.
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
share the screen. So this is the sample addendum I have right now from different. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It should.
It should be good, right? Yeah. Are you able to see the screen? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I believe I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, I give it off to them, right?
Oh, okay.
All the
Mhm.
small stuff, I give it off to them and they take care of it. They just send me everything to sign back and get it notarized, and then I give it to them and they just
So
handle it.
this is for the addendum for the price negotiation. Like we agreed on the price, and there are some issues in the property. I'm trying to go negotiate the price with the seller, and if he agrees on that, so this is going to be the a purchase agreement addendum. Like this is to
Right.
agreed date. Yeah, this is the date. What is the original purchase agreement and the buyer name and the seller name. Addendum applies the following. The purchase price is now, so we are going to mention the renegotiated price here. And buyer
Yeah.
agrees to let the seller stay in property for this.
Yeah. No, definitely. I can't exactly look over it 100%. Um,
Hmm.
just because like I'm not an attorney, I don't really create these contracts. Um, so
Okay.
they like all these TC companies, they hire attorneys to make all the documents for them. And then they know like the nitty gritty of of exactly what they need to put in.
Fencing is not the sellers. Half of the fencing is neighbors. So he claimed the property square footage is 1800, but it is not 1800. When we went and checked the title, the deed, it appears it is 1250. So
So your title company is supposed to handle that. Did did title take care of it, or were they doing it? Because there's
no,
supposed to be a survey on title.
yeah, not yet, not still there yet. But
So
before even starting the title and stuff, as there are some other things, uh, as seller mentioned, the fencing is all his, but that is not the case. 50% of the
so
fence, yeah.
it's okay. It doesn't matter what he says because whatever's on title, title's gonna make sure. That's what we have title for, and then that's why we always get title insurance. Title will make sure that there is a survey on file, and they're gonna
Uh-huh.
see exactly how much it is, right? Like what the dimension is and what the setback is because it's gonna be in your deed.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah, everything's be reported, right? And like for example, the triplex that I'm buying right now, and we're gonna close on by the end of the month. It didn't have a survey in file, so they made me go get a survey. I'm trying this new guy right now. I never got a survey before. So yeah, the guy, went out there, measured everything, measured the property lines, and then he submitted it to title. They gave it, and they gave it to title. Title records it with the county, and then you move on forward.
Okay. Good.
Because like if it's like a bootleg title company and they don't even you're not getting title insurance, they're not going to care. They'll be like, who cares? But if they're insuring it, then their neck is on the line. So they're going to want to do anything to ensure that if they're giving you insurance on this transaction, everything is as said to be. um, because then you can come back and you can even sue the title company if they did something wrong, they're not taking care of it.
Usually, if you have to do any price negotiation, like, so usually at what point of time you do. Now I know that fencing seller itself agreed, the fencing is not his. 50%
Mhm.
is his and 50% is neighbors. So
Okay.
I'm trying to do the price anchor based on that. So at what point of time you usually do, like once the title search is started, before closing date, or when could be the right time?
What price anchor and drop the price?
Yeah.
Honestly, it depends on your relationship with the seller and what your understanding is of his needs. Because now, like, I would do it as soon as possible instead of like waiting last minute.
Mhm.
Because I would do it when all this stuff is fresh and hot, like the pain of you like finally winning in an
Mhm.
argument with him, to tell him that, hey, look, like this is what it is, and he actually confirms that with you. So now you're on like up here and he's like down here. And when it's all fresh, I would bring it up then instead of waiting till everything calms down and then you bring it up. Because
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he's like, he brushed it over his shoulders. He's like, I thought it was okay this whole time. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. He's going to get pissed off. It's right before close. And it's just going to start
Yeah,
a huge aggravation.
I just got the inspection report. I want to go through the seller tomorrow. There are a bunch of things to address. So
Yeah.
I want to go with that and try to do price anchor. So that is where we need this price addendum. So
Hmm. Definitely. So you're gonna put the addendum into place so he can't back out. Is that what you're doing?
no, no, no. So that is NOS I already submitted, notice of settlement. So he cannot bypass me right now before he settle up with me. That's what I heard from attorney.
Hmm.
But this addendum is for the price addendum. So we agreed on 320K, 319K. So let's say if the seller drops 5,000 or 10,000. So what this addendum says is like, so we agreed for this price on that agreement on so and so date, so and so price.
Hmm.
So we are going to drop that price from 319 to 315K on today's date. The next closing date is so and so date. So this is like a addendum for the previous agreement. So it is like extension of other agreement basically.
I
As
see.
there is a price drop, so we are not voiding the existing purchase agreement. So existing purchase agreement will be there. but this is
Yeah,
kind of addendum to that. So
I
yeah,
see. Okay. Did your attorney like recommend that to get an addendum
yeah,
for even the yeah? Okay,
yeah.
nice. So
Not through attorney,
have you
but
asked them?
not through attorney. That was suggested by other investor. Yeah, I
Okay.
was part of other group too before I joined here. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so but they are based in Columbus. So I was looking something here, so,
Mm.
which works in this market.
So no, definitely. Usually, excuse me. Usually I only need to file that one addendum, and it should stop others like from going behind your back if that's your main concern. You know, so that's that, and you're basically making this new addendum for the price that's being dropped as of right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. No, you're basically just ensuring your end from the back every different way. So that's super awesome. That way at least you're not getting naggled or hassled in the back, and he's not able to shake you up too much.
Yeah.
What I do is like I've even filed memos afterwards. So let's say if something messes up, I filed memorandums afterwards too. And it's still possible. Like the memorandum I just showed, I
Mm-hmm.
filed it after I found the buyer um, is talking to the seller and they're making a new contract. I filed
Mm-hmm.
this contract, this memo, after I found out there's a whole nother contract out there.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So then, the guy pulls his title and then his title report came back with a lien on it and then it never really went for. And
Mm-hmm.
even if it's like it passes title and he ends up getting like, it goes through and it gets clear.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you get your memo signed out, and reported before they close, it just won't close, because then
Mm-hmm.
that lien will still come up last minute.
Yes, yes, yes.
So yeah,
So
so
you
it
you
doesn't really
work
matter.
you work with the first time investors title company, right? Did you
Yeah,
close
I
any?
have.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
right now I'm working with them. So
Okay.
yeah, he asked for like 300. If the deals falls off, 300 is non-refundable. That's what he mentioned.
It's not really too big of a hassle, because you think about it this way. Like if you're working at a title company, if you did all this work and you never ever had a dollar come in from this said person, um, you know, some
Yeah, I
guys
totally
are like,
agree. I
when,
totally agree. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
totally agree. They're
but some
spending time,
guys,
right? Mm-hmm.
yeah, some guys are like super old. Like their business has been around for super long. Like I've had West Jersey title.
Mm-hmm.
I've given them a few different deals, and that happened to me. And I was like ready to pay, and they're like, "No, no, don't worry about it. Just go get some more deals." I was like, "Okay," So
Yeah, I
it
can.
really,
Yeah, I don't want to stress much on that as of now, but I want to just move forward with the first invest title company. And if we are doing more business, then like I can still talk to them. Like it is
yeah,
not purposely I'm doing. Like if something falls off, uh,
I know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what I would do is I'd also start forming relationships
Hmm.
with title companies in different counties, and specific title companies that specifically work with certain counties. Like whenever I do Salem, I used to always do Salem Oak title,
Hmm.
um, and West Jersey title. I've
Hmm.
done Universal title, just a ton of different title companies down there. There was what was this new one? There's Pittman, Deckel. I just tried Deckel. Deckel was good too.
Hmm.
And all these are wholesale friendly. And if they're not, then you can just work a way around it where you can make sure that everything is recorded on the HUD and you
Hmm.
can move on forward from there. Because these guys, they just don't want to do anything shady. They just don't want to, you know, um, do a transaction where it's a blank HUD or something like that. But some of them will, some of them won't. Um, it all just depends on the person and how much risk they're willing to take to, ensure your transaction.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but all right, guys, I'm gonna get going. It's a little bit stretched out today. Um,
Mhm.
and I'll catch you guys on Thursday. Please come on, get some more questions ready for me, and make it worth your while.
Okay, sure, sure. Thanks, Tom.
All
Yeah,
right, guys.
thanks. Yeah.
Have a great night.
You
You
too.
too.
All right, bye.